I skipped down there.
That's the only place I ever remember being living.
Who lived in Recycling with us? Who lived in
You eat.
Zaleski.
He did?
He got assaulted.
Those are good.
Yes, somebody did break into that.
Oh, really?
No,
No, actually, they came right to the house. It was like,
I'm gonna watch
it
that.
was like
They
three
took
black
him,
kids.
they took him outside and beat him.
Really?
What year was that, Dad?
Then Luke got hit in the head by a flying
I suppose
boy.
I might have been 15 or
Oh,
something, I
that's what
guess.
that's flying, airborne.
So, whatever the math figure got,
No.
40, no, 55?
Sam didn't really
Who
know.
drove first?
What?
Who drove first? I remember we used to
Yeah,
have to
put them
lock
out.
our keys up at night because of a certain brother.
Do
Go out the next day and your gas tank would be empty.
Hey, Conrad, there's no room to play with toys in Grandma's living room tonight.
Oh,
Someplace up here. Who drove first?
Bob was teaching us parking lessons and he dinged up the fender on that Pontiac. Do you remember that, Bob?
That one I tried to wrap around the clothes bolt.
Yeah. No,
I don't remember
we
that.
were frantically trying to become body.
What did you own a Pontiac convertible or something? And went right into the back in that aluminum
No, we usually
siding,
go to Strong's.
right on the corner.
Okay.
That kind of a,
Who would
it
you
had
take their
it had
kids
a
to
round
see Santa?
brake light on it. I
Yeah.
think you,
We're not.
Yeah, impressed, put an impression
They
in.
thought it was dramatic.
Yeah, well, that was a big car. That was
Maybe,
long.
you know, they know their kids.
Yes.
Then you did Ford Pontiac. Oh,
yep,
So Joanne, was your dad older? Your dad was younger than Frank.
yeah, my dad was the oldest
Yes,
of all the children.
And he was born in Poland, right?
Yes.
and Uncle Gross was the youngest, wasn't he?
Sam, do you want some
Cool.
tea, Phil?
No, Uncle,
No,
yeah,
Uncle
my-
Ben was.
You want some more?
Okay.
And your
But-
dad
but-
the only one born in Poland?
I didn't give him.
What's that?
Was your dad the only one born in Poland?
Yeah.
Didn't they leave a child there though?
I think the parents
Uh,
are,
The
That's what it
story is that they left a child
I
in
don't think so. But they did have a kid that died.
Oh, really?
And your, did I ever tell you that your dad, you know why his name was Adam?
I was only tomato.
That was a tradition
What
because
would you like? You can take
he,
whatever you want. You want a tomato too?
he was, it wasn't like he was stillborn, but he was having a
Anything
problem when he
else?
was, and they
Another carrot?
gave him like,
Since that one's gone.
he told me they breathed on him, but it might have been something like resuscitation or something like that.
He died of pneumonia.
But,
Pneumonia
who?
is what he died of, the baby.
No, we were talking about
Yeah, I
Uncle
know. How you
Uncle
been
Brown.
here?
Oh,
And that's the reason they called him Adam, because that was tradition that when you had a kid that didn't live, that you called him Adam. And anyway, so they were able to get him breathing. But the one that died was, and he was always kind of bitter about that, because Uncle Grot said
I said, I don't
that,
have anybody on my side.
and you know, who
Why
knows,
don't you interview Kimberly?
you know, way back then, because these people were like dirt poor.
Right.
And Uncle Adam always kind of blamed Grandpa.
Yeah, Pam.
You know, not real vindictively, but he said that, you know,
Was
that
a week,
Grandpa
I
wouldn't
mean,
call him
a
down.
year ago yesterday already.
But, you know, who knows, a kid could have been
Is-
stillborn or who knows what.
He was 6 months old.
Yeah,
Oh, he
there was
was?
one
Okay.
that, a neighbor or something was rocking the baby, wasn't it?
It just says bronchopneumonia.
There,
I didn't know that.
somebody was rocking the baby
No?
in that
Okay.
front vestibule part, and he was very sick
Okay.
when it died. Grandma cried about that baby for years.
You like
Then we need
But she was very, very emotional.
Oh, yeah, oh,
He
yeah,
seems like
on a plate.
oh, yeah.
he seems very comfortable.
If you want more, just tell me,
She's tough.
okay?
She,
I tell you the truth, I do not remember her.
she,
Even though she lived, we lived there, I don't
His
remember
cat
her.
was
hair.
real nice to your mom, as I recall.
Oh, no.
I know.
Yeah, she was tough on your mom.
Why?
she would,
You could get some
and
weird,
Why?
and Bill would do
she
something
could
like
get
that.
some toys
And
and
Bill
take
would
them
scrub
in
the floor.
the computer
She'd
room.
come right behind her and scrub it again.
Sam, do you like it when I sleep in your
Yeah,
bed?
she was just,
No, what is
She
she?
did have a little
she
bit of a
was, she was like one of those people that, you know, like she treated me like gold.
You go sleep in your bed.
But, you know, if
He takes
she
up a lot of
did, you know,
room.
for some reason, and I imagine it's because that was her daughter-in-law.
Did you ever put it up on the?
And there was, I think there was a lot of ethnic,
She wasn't Polish.
Oh, you have when I'm not there.
Yes.
That was
huge.
She wasn't Catholic.
yeah, a lot
Yes.
of conflict, you know, because your mom was Hungarian.
We will.
And being from Lorraine, that was another big deal. So I think, you know, some of that played into it. But she was really tough on your dad. She was really tough on your dad. I mean, as bad as she was to your mom, she was harder on your dad.
How was she with your dad?
Mom used to talk about her being hard, you know. You know what, when they had the place behind, they lived on West Avenue behind,
If I make it again,
village?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
use
behind the village.
3 layers like Pat said Wanda used to do. You
Mom
want
used to talk about,
You can take them.
she couldn't believe she
You
was
want
so
what?
cruel. I can't remember any specific examples, but she said she was,
You just let me know what
I
you
remember
want.
Mom
Cookie, you won't
asking
even
her
like
mom,
carrots, get away.
saying
Go away.
that she was cruel to, you know, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, she could be a really tough lady.
What was the village before it was a bar? I wonder, I don't even know
No,
that.
it was always a bar.
There was a Polish club, of course, about a block away, block and a half.
So did you know anything about your George's family or your grandma's family?
I
Nothing.
didn't. I didn't.
No.
Uncle Dan's requirement.
Did you know anything about?
Just that Grandpa was
Zaleski's
supposed to have
family.
been, he was supposed to have been educated.
No, I don't.
And he was, had he kept his libido in check, he probably would have, you know. But then we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, who knows where we'd all be.
But I thought Aunt Jen was born in Poland too.
I don't know.
She might have been.
I don't, we'd have to check with Barb, maybe Barb.
I don't know.
No, she wasn't.
No,
She just came over with Frank.
Okay.
According to what I have. He was 3.
Wasn't he in the military or something?
What's that?
Grandpa George, was he in the military?
Grandpa?
Was he in the service, Polish?
You know, Larry, I remember seeing pictures, Mom and Aunt Ola and those, they got out a picture, and I think on a Jello site, there was a picture of a guy that was dressed up in his military garb.
Yeah.
And I just vaguely remember that, and there was Mom was in the picture, and I remember the picture was sort of marred or something, but Mom's eye looked like it was, you know, it was.
You're not talking about the picture that they took just before they came to this country, because Linda, you have that.
Well, anyway, there was a picture of Mom, and she was just really small, and there was a fleck or something like that, of course, in the photography, and I was real worried about it. I was just, I don't know, I was just really young, but it says, yeah, your mom, yeah, she's got a glass eye, and you know, sometimes that stuff could be like kind of cruel, and I worried about that for the longest time. I always thought Mom had a glass eye.
It might have been Uncle Max.
No, it wasn't him. It was the women that were doing it.
I don't even know how many brothers did your mom have? I forget.
She had 3.
3 brothers, and there's 3 girls?
3 that, yeah, survived. One died when she was around 5, I think. And Aunt Ola talked about that, and Mom talked about that for the longest time. Back then, they would
I should
take
have brought more
and
treats. I should
put,
have brought more treats, yeah.
lower the caskets, and the hole was filled with water. And Mom talked about, that's all she kept thinking about, is they were putting that casket in that water.
And she had a pauper's grave.
Yeah,
It's unmarked,
Yeah.
you know.
Who had Pauper's graves?
Their sister.
Their sister.
Oh, okay.
She had scarlet fever or rheumatic fever or something.
I thought meningitis.
I don't know, she had some, I do know also that Grandma Jelliwick supposedly was, the rabbi would come out and she was allowed to bleed out the calves, or the beef. Usually you have to be Jewish and have to, you know, have all this other stuff. But
Wait a minute. Their own beef?
Yes, they would, I don't know if they bought it from Grandpa or if they knew that it was like kosher or whatever it was. They would hang them, but now Grandma told me this, they would hang the beef up, like the hind legs, I don't know how they settled them down.
Yeah.
And she would go up and slice their
Yeah.
jugular.
Yeah.
And the rabbi had to be there, and then they'd bleed them out.
Why would the rabbi have to, if it wasn't a Jewish customer or whatever?
Well, it was, to make
It
them
was.
kosher.
They were kosher then.
Oh, okay, they were selling specifically,
Yes.
selling to Jews, okay.
But why was Grandma allowed to do that?
You know, she would. Grandpa wouldn't, see, Grandpa didn't like doing the chickens or anything like that. We had chickens when we were kids.
I remember going out to your house and Grandma cut their necks, and then they'd run around.
Yeah, they.
Really?
Yeah.
Dad used to chop, he had a block, he had like a stump, and he'd chop the heads off. And then they'd take it in, Mom would pluck the feathers off of it. I remember how bad is this one of those things when you're a kid, how bad it stunk when she put that thing over the gas stove. Then she'd pluck out the feathers, I guess what, pin feathers, I don't know if that's what they call them. And then she'd make chicken soup that was out of it. We didn't realize how good, at least I didn't realize how
And
good
they'd make
that
those feather chicks that you'd sleep underneath,
Do you,
oh my
do you
god.
remember the time Dad did do one of those and he left one of the veins and the chicken lived for a good long time and it
No.
flopped around the backyard?
Yeah.
I
sure
used to
do,
remember
because-
flop around,
because
but I don't
Mom
remember this.
says, wanted me to go out and kill them.
Oh my
It was hopping around with the head off, but a vein.
Oh,
So the head was just hanging there.
Yeah.
And Mom said, just take a hatchet and chop it. I couldn't do it. I don't-
Yeah, you've heard the term chicken with his head cut off. All chickens would do it, but this one just hung on for 20 or 30 minutes. It was amazing.
It was flapping all over.
And it was blind, of course, you know, just running, bumping
Did
into
you try to
trees.
get Larry or Bob to do it?
Yeah,
She's trying to get me to go out.
I think
Finish
Mom
the
wanted
job.
Bob to finish the job.
What?
I think she wanted Bob to finish the job. I wasn't gonna do it.
Did she say pretend it was Larry and just go with it?
If she would have, then I'd work.
Just pretend like it's your whipping boy. Let me see, what do you remember most about growing up in Elyria? I don't know,
the pit downtown.
yeah,
No.
high school, I don't know.
No, I
The
remember
river?
ice skating on the river, sledding on the river,
Ice skating.
walking everywhere, and biking everywhere.
They always, the Metro Parks, do you remember the Metro Parks would, the swimming pool when I was older, and then they would flood an area and you could ice skate. We would ice
Yes.
skate behind our house on East Avenue until like, 9, 10 o'clock.
Hamilton School
School,
had a thing
Hamilton
that they had
School.
for ice skating.
Yeah,
That's right, you.
and we were never afraid.
That's all.
Patty, I only said the pit
Hamilton
because,
School.
I remember Tommy taking me up
Oh,
to
yeah.
Paradise. Tommy taking me up to Paradise and you were in there.
See,
I was in it.
No, Patty was in there.
there wasn't, Paradise was just coming into being,
Right.
kind of, at that time.
What is that, a club?
No, it was a
Restaurant.
It was a
restaurant.
restaurant, but all the kids would go
Oh,
up there
okay.
after school or skip school and go up there.
Yeah, I went to school or Tom Zahars was in my homeroom.
Who's he, the, is
Sometimes,
His uncle owned the Paradise, his
sometimes
dad
they
was
go
killed
before us.
that right?
What?
He owned the candy shop in
Go before
Virginia.
us.
Yes.
That's what I've heard. I thought it was just a rumor, but
What's that?
Paradise.
Paradise, you know, so, you said after school, there were sometimes guys would go there before school was over.
You know who hung out there for the longest time? Well beyond his teenage years?
Carol Booth.
Carol Booth. And Art Weber.
I don't remember Art
Art
Weber.
Weber was a councilman in Elyria, I don't know, he might still be. But he would always hung around with younger people.
What year did,
Anyways, I was in Paradise before school was over, and, this cop came in, and he said, "Are you guys supposed to be in school?" So I don't remember exactly what was said, but we wound up, he'd escorted us back to the school, and we got our, detentions.
Do you remember the time Tommy came over with his bike? And we had a long driveway on Oberlin Road and built the ramp. And you got on his bike and went up the ramp. He went to stop and the chain broke. He was headed for the gully.
Oh.
And Tommy was like, my bike.
Yeah, instead of going to the hospital like Larry, he got his ass kicked.
grandma a tough disciplinarian?
Very.
I don't know about that.
Well, probably not to you.
What?
You're in Elyria.
Yes.
Mom or grandma?
Our mom, their grandmother.
Okay.
How about,
She didn't tell us anything twice, I can tell you that.
Really, I couldn't picture that about your mom, because she was always so kind and so easygoing.
Well,
She was kind to you.
I know, she really was. I can't imagine her being, mean at all.
some of us occasionally would push the envelope, so to speak.
We liked it when we had the company work, because she wasn't quite as much of a disciplinarian.
I remember that house on Overland Road, and she'd always sit by the table at that farther, by the counter.
We had God, I don't remember how old we were, but Larry was probably maybe 4 years old. But Mom and Dad left, and they left us.
In charge.
Well, not really in charge, but I think they entrusted our behavior to ourselves. But anyway, so we got into the lights, we had bunk beds, remember those? And anyway, so we got into a huge pillow fight. We were all wrestling on the bed, and we were like all on top of each other, rolling around, doing all kinds of stuff. And these guys were on top of me, and I was hollering, and I was not in dire straits, but I was going for the Oscar, the Academy Award. So I was hollering, air. And all of a sudden, the damn light flips on, and here was Mom and Dad. I guess they didn't plan to be gone long, but of course we took advantage of the absence. But so here we were, just going have at it, and I'm hollered, and I don't remember what happened, but I think they might have been, things might have been tempered a little bit because of the humor, but it was a very scary time.
Oh my God.
Air was the least of my problems. Gas is what I was worried about.
A little unrelated story is we used to, I guess all three of us used to set up pins at the bowling alley from time to time, right? Anyhow, you remember the long entranceway to get into the bowling alley?
Yeah.
And it was like a long hallway to get in there. And he'd go there and set up pins. Anyhow, you learned a lot of the vernacular of the street, shall we say, back then.
Yeah, that was a great educational process going on there.
But it's a similar situation to what you're talking about, Gerry. Billy Brown and Cotton Ball Bohannon got into a little shoving and pushing match, and it escalated into a pretty heavy-duty wrestling bout. Anyhow, Billy was a better athlete. He got the best of Cotsey, and they weren't really mad at each other, but Billy had the upper hand. He was asserting himself, and Cotsey Bohannon pulled his coat over his head, and he was laying on the floor, sort of in a fetal position, and Billy would kick him, and he said, "Holler out." He said, "When I kick you, you holler out Billy X time." Billy X time. So Billy would wind up and kick him, and Cotsey would holler, "Billy X time." He said, "I want it louder," and he'd kick him again. "Billy X time." This went on for, I'll bet you, 5 minutes, and here comes through the door. Here comes. They had the swinging doors. You didn't know that. You didn't hear any latching or anything. Here come Clarence.
Our boss.
Yeah, Pinsetter's boss, I guess. Anyhow, and Cotsey laid down there. He didn't take the coat off his head or anything, and Clarence kicked him. Big time! I remember Clarence looking at us and what the hell?
Cotsey was, he wasn't a bad kid, but he was kind of I think he was kind of a pathetic kid.
I think they eventually, I was talking to one of the black kids on the south side, and he said he had to go where people didn't know him. It just ran him out of town, I guess.
Really?
I don't know, I don't know if there's any validity, can they, back then it might have been, he just might have made that stipulation, get out of here,
Yeah. I think he was just kind of a hard time loser.
Yeah.
I don't remember the river behind your house. How close was it to the house?
Oh, it wasn't close. It went,
I think the lot size was roughly 700 feet deep, I think. 700 or 900, but it was, that was, we had every bit of 2/3 of that to get down to the river.
we used to literally build fires on the river. The ice would be that thick,
Oh, really?
and we would ice skate.
I was skating with the boys from the south end one time, and you remember Davey Bizinczak?
Yes.
Yeah. We were racing around the fire, and it was, I'd say the track, shall we say, might have been as big as these 2 rooms. And Dave could fly with them skates, but I wasn't gonna let him outrun me. And so we got to flying around this track, put one foot over the other, and I was moving, I was trying to catch him, and that was all I remember. I went out. I don't remember. Here I had turned a little too tight and wound up hitting my head on the ice.
Oh, my goodness.
But I woke up. It was like it was surreal. I woke up over by the fire. And all these guys were sitting around talking. I'm out like a light. I said, what happened?
No one got excited back then, did it? When someone got hurt, it was like, oh, well.
I don't know.
You lost, Larry.
You lost.
You guys could answer this better. Did you jump on beds a lot? Dan? Do you remember?
I don't really, somebody went through the window, right? Uncle Bob?
Try to tell.
Raise your hand, Uncle Bob.
I could tell him he was going up to the newspaper that was beside the bed and he'd lost his balance.
Oh, really?
We took the storm window off and put it in the other room. Oh, Dad found that. He
Oh,
wasn't
my
real pleased with that.
Why'd
Went
you
through
do
both
that?
of them.
Why'd you do that? Why'd you take the storm window out?
Because we didn't want him to know that they broke both windows. He broke the regular window and the storm window. It's back when you hung the storm windows up on.
It was kind of cool. He'd caught himself by the arm. It was like cartoon style, shall we say.
He was one of these things where he'd bounce out of the bed and they'd go down, and if you hit the button, then you were able to come back up on your feet. It was like a trampoline type of.
Right.
Well, most of the beds back then were not like they are today.
No.
And you didn't do that, but they broke more of those support boards.
Well, I remember we